When we think of William Hearst, we imagine his castle in California. But what about his other homes? Hi everyone, Ken here. Welcome to This House. Today we are exploring Wyntoon, a Bavarian-style fantasy village in McLeod, California. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an exciting episode of This House. William Hearst was best known for growing a media empire and building the Hearst Castle, which we covered in a previous video. But the story of his Bavarian village in McLeod, California starts with his mother Phoebe Hearst. After her husband passed away, she was looking for a fresh start, somewhere secluded and relaxing, with natural beauty surrounding her. She found an extraordinary tract of land in the Cascade Mountain Range and signed a 99-year lease. Immediately, she began building a 7-story castle which would be completed in 1904, which perhaps inspired William to build his own castle later on. Phoebe employed 2 architects to realize her vision, Julia Morgan and Bernard Maybeck. They drew inspiration from the nearby conifer trees, covering the house in shingles, exaggerating its height with long vertical elements. It sat right in the bend of the river, with trickling water echoing from its blue volcanic stone. The interior of the home boasted exposed timber beams, Gothic arches, and massive stone fireplaces. It was accented by Flemish tapestries hung on the walls, as we can see here in the assembly room. The dining room was more rustic, with exposed stone walls set below timber crossbeams. The floors were finished out with oversized wood planks. The walls were decorated with tapestries, trophies, and artifacts from the Wyntoon tribe, who once lived on Phoebe's land and became the namesake of the estate. In 1919, Phoebe passed away from the Spanish flu while visiting her hacienda. She left Wyntoon to her niece, Anne Flint. This enraged her son William Hearst, who tried to buy it from Anne, but she refused to sell. William attempted withholding artwork from her, but still she would not sell. Finally, William tasked an entire team of lawyers with taking the estate from Anne, which they did in 1925. Anne received $198,000 as compensation, or the modern-day equivalent of about $3.3 million. In hindsight, this was actually really good for Anne, because the castle and all of its contents were lost to fire in 1929. Without a house on the scenic property, William began planning a 61-bedroom castle to take its place. But the Great Depression was just starting, and the man with a seemingly endless fortune had to cut back on spending. He hired Julia Morgan to come back to the site and reimagine the land without a castle. He sent her to Germany to research architecture for 1 year, and when she came back, she proposed a Bavarian-style village consisting of 4 homes following the river bend. They would all be arranged in a semicircle, around a central fountain with a lawn growing between the conifers. In 1934, the village was completed, and William was offered the chance to purchase the land instead of leasing it, so he did. Of the houses on his estate was the half-timbered brown bear house, which was covered in colorful murals between the timbers. In this photo, we can see a fountain featuring a brown bear with her cub climbing on her back, as well as bears worked into the murals decorating the facade. Walking inside, the door was ornately carved with pointed arches receding in layers above it, all set below hand-carved beams. The staircase rounded out along the wood-paneled walls, leading to a bay window at its landing. Bisque statuary decorated the newel post, with niches set in the room's corners for displaying larger statues. On the other side of the circular drive was the Cinderella house, containing a clock in its central gable, with bay windows transitioning into pointed towers as they rose from the 2nd to 3rd floors. The Cinderella house was also decorated with murals between its timbers, depicting fairy tales, as we can see Cinderella below the clock, racing to her carriage while wearing just one glass slipper. The outbuildings on the property included the senior staff Swiss chalet, and a river house which had been built with a cantilevered deck above the river. The bridge house, in homage to Phoebe's original home, was covered in shingles and set on the opposite side of the river. The smallest house was known as the Nerve Center, where telegraphs and telephone calls would be received by 3 full-time staff members. As the Great Depression raged on, William lost control of his company, and Wyntoon was assigned to a board of trustees who charged William rent when he wanted to stay there, visiting only a few times before his death in 1951. Today, Wyntoon continues to be controlled by the Hearst Corporation and is enjoyed by William's descendants as private property. Thank you all for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Make sure to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an exciting episode of This House. I would also like to take a moment to say a special thank you to our This House supporters whose names you can see on screen right now. If you would like to see your name on the screen, please consider joining our membership program today. I'll see you next time on This House.